I was thinking I would do some interjections during your song, just to.
All right.
I feel so useless over here because but I don't want to. I can't harmonize, or I don't know how to harmonize.
Well, you could be my hype man.
Okay.
Right? You could be like, "What's up?"
Yeah, that's one thing. I was just thinking about interjections. Maybe I could. We'll switch it up. We'll see what works.
Okay. All right. Oh, and you have a fishbowl song, if I recall.
Oh my God!
It's been a while.
Do I ever?
Do I ever?
I mean, it's purposely bad because that's how I roll. And also, in case anyone didn't catch it, because I know everyone's catching every single thing that we're saying, because it's very important. Hot vodka was so named hot vodka because what sounds more terrible than hot vodka?
There is very little worse than hot vodka. I've done many times as a younger gentleman. I had full nights of shooting the worst Dr. Mr. Boston, Popov, awful, like you want to the next day. Yeah. But whatever, it was fun.
But if it's chilled, it's possible to, but I think maybe the only thing worse than hot vodka is hot gin. Hot, cheap gin. I'll give you a moment.
I do like cold gin.
Ooh,
but
juniper.
Warm gin.
One time I chugged warm gin in a closet at a dance party with a boy that I thought was cute. Not because I wanted to, but just because I was like, oh, this boy is cute. And then as I was puking and my friends were holding my hair back, I was just like, I chugged gin in the closet with no one. And they were like, why? But they took care of me because they were good friends.
That's good.
Okay, so that's a great introduction to our podcast.
Hello.
Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Saying it weird.
You. Us. Or, I should say, politically correct, they, them.
I love it. Inclusivity, baby.
Inclusivity. This is everything in all people. Upright, and fancy. Upright, and fancy.
What's that?
Upright, and fancy. Upright, and fancy.
So fancy.
Starring
Kara
and Chris. Ooh. That was harmony, though. You were on that. Yeah,
okay.
The note you hit that you started on.
I did.
Was actual harmony.
The note you started on.
Well, no. Like you kind of. I feel like you were like, I don't think that's the right note. So then you bailed. Yeah, but your first initial thought was that.
Okay, I'm trying to confront my fears about music and things because I just feel like this is a great. Maybe chapter of my midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I've been readdressing my fears about all these other things. So why not try to stop being so weird about music seeming impossible?
There's something revelatory. I think you said it first about sort of a crisis and then coming out of it. Mm-hmm. It's like being super duper duper sick. The only good thing about being the sickest you've ever been is when you start to feel better. Yes. And you're like, oh hell, I don't feel bad. It's such a, it's like a revelation. It's almost worth getting sick to feel better.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why people who are, who've had a lot of trauma in their lives are often a little bit more interesting, a little bit funnier, all these things. Because it's like, obviously you wouldn't want bad things. You wouldn't wish bad things upon most people. And
most people.
Most people. You know who you are. I am, the problem is I don't think you do. I don't think actually bad people know that they're terrible.
I don't think so either. But that's okay. We do.
Yeah.
And we're better than. I'm just kidding.
I always, how people think I'm a good person. Like I always, my default is like I'm not a bad person.
Yeah.
Like that's what I can't. It's not my job to say whether I'm a good person or not.
Also, that's kind of a pass-fail thing. You know what I mean? Like there's not. You're not necessarily. It's since it's so subjective. you either pass or you fail on that.
Well, I give you an A+.
Oh my God! I give you an A++ too.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that we're here today.
I am too.
So
look at you making a nice beginning segue. Well done.
Beginning at it's not that bad. It's only 5 minutes.
Not that bad.
We're having a great time.
Yes.
And we're so glad you're here too. You're
Welcome
our friends.
To episode 6 of Upright and Fancy.
Our dreams are coming true.
Oh my God, 6 of them at least have come true. Mm-hmm. One is coming true right now.
Somewhere, a little gay angel is getting its wings.
Oh, a Gayngel?
A Gayngel? Oh my God!
Oh no, a Gayngel.
Oh my God! I always call Clover, my little girl, Angel, and I hate that I do that, but it just comes out of my mouth and be like, oh Angel. I'll start calling her Gayngel.
That's amazing.
It'll be definitely not scarring.
I love Gusband. I love, whatever. But
you're her gunkle.
The one that stuck with me, as I'm counting them off, and I'm like, so the one that stuck with me, well, I don't know what's happening. The one that stuck with me and will be forever, my nickname forever, is Gunkle.
Yeah.
So it started off that I was Harper, who is my oldest brother's oldest daughter. Mm-hmm. Shout out Miss Harper if you're listening.
Hey.
Harper Bean. I'm apparently the only one that calls her that still. But
Clover Bean.
But she is my goddaughter as well, which I thought was an amazing thing.
Lovely.
I know,
yeah.
It was amazing. I've never been asked that before, and I was of course over the moon about it. But so I was her gunkle, her godfather uncle. But then everybody else, all of a sudden, there were 17 of these motherfuckers running around, and I'm just kidding. But it stuck. Gunkle stuck, and then of course I became gay uncle. But it stuck, and still to this day, my 21-year-old niece, my 20-year-old niece, all the way down to my 11-year-old niece, all call me Gunkle or Gunky.
Gunky?
Yeah, Gunky. So even still, as these kids are in adolescence and things are not that cool anymore, they still freaking call me Gunky, and
That's adorable.
Love it. I'll burp and I hear, Gunky. It'll be something gnarly.
That's so cute.
I know they're really amazing.
I had no idea that origin was not in gayness; that it was in godness.
My specific one was when Godfather.
Yeah.
And so I am officially her. And only her gunkle. Mm-hmm. But in the grander scheme, I'm all of their gunkles, and it makes me.
He's all of your gunkles.
I'm your gunkle as well.
If you want him to be.
I can also be your funkle.
Or you can also be your father figure.
Ooh,
we did karaoke. Yes. Our dear friend Lauren, who, by the way, I have to say, one of the funniest things is So Lauren and I both became friends with Chris through Toby in different ways. And we're very different people, but there are weird similarities. Yeah. And one of them is that both of us, completely unprompted, no one asked, both of us individually offered to birth a child for Chris and Toby. We're just if you ever want a baby, I'll be your surrogate. Yeah. Which is such a strange thing to say.
But endearing and very specific and but very into a relationship. That's not a flippant comment. And so all of that was, of course, appreciated.
I thought that our relationship was strong enough that I could give you the greatest gift. Yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I feel Lauren and I both were just of all people that should raise children.
I love that.
Let me help you, and also let me tie myself to your life forever.
I love it. I love all of those things. So we went to Lauren's birthday party.
Yes. Her Golden Girls themed birthday party.
That said, thank you for being a friend, you old bitch.
You old bitch.
Yo, bitch.
Because, she is turning 40. I recently turned 40, and so it is the season of having these celebrations that are a little bit mean, and but also I think that she had an amazing time, and I am so happy. We went to the Golden Pony karaoke room.
It was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Pony themes, they just keep coming up in this podcast. Yeah. But I'm a horse girl, so I love this.
I mean, I'm a... Ooh. Just kidding. I just like to whinny. And nay.
Just keep that in your back pocket. All right, Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
I So apparently you're half horse. I mean, I've heard that before, but about other things.
I mean, it's sketched into the bathroom walls. So I sang karaoke, and I sang father figure in karaoke, which is my jam, which is very vastly different than Gayngel, but close enough where it's my So here's the thing, I was borderline schmammered that night.
No.
Just not schmammered necessarily in an alcoholic sort of way, but I was like, what is up? So when it was my time to sing, I was like, oh shit, okay. That's all I wanted. I had to really think about singing.
Okay, but also, Chris, everyone was telling you to please delay your singing because it would intimidate everyone else because your voice is so beautiful. And Toby told me something that I hope changes, but I mean, it's been almost 20 years that since he started dating you, he stopped doing karaoke.
I've never seen him karaoke.
And he used to do it.
Yeah, he has pictures of his friends and his friend, he and his friend Angie and Jennifer actually at the shoot in Nashville.
The shoot!
In like 2003 or 4 or something like that, singing karaoke. And looking like... And
it.
So before I moved here, he was with his friends Angie and Nicole, who's the one that's moving from Atlanta, that he's finding a house for.
On the Lovely Homes.
Yes, thelovelyhomes.com. But he used to sing backup vocals for Chris Mitchell, who is a fantastic vocalist and was the shit in Nashville at the time.
Okay.
So like he would put on a show. Did you ever see like a Guilty Pleasures? Oh my Lord above.
Guilty Pleasures?
You say the word. Guilty those things. Pleasures. Thank you. Oh my God. Okay. Guilty Pleasures.
You want to hear the word pleasure, Chris?
Pleasure.
You want to hear about pleasure?
It was the zh that threw me.
Pleasure.
Anyway, whenever he would have a show, it would pack out, just like Guilty Pleasures has packed out if you've seen them. But anyway, it was kind of like a Nashville thing.
There's no guilt in my pleasure, baby.
And none at all. But it would pack out, and so it much
pack
like,
out the shoot.
Yeah. No, not the shoot. Like 12 and Porter and stuff.
I just like to make jokes about this gay bar called the Shoot.
The Shoot was crazy.
Exists in Nashville.
Did you ever go to the Shoot?
No, I don't think I lived.
You were gone. You were okay. So it was here. I came to it a couple times.
Did you? You came in the Shoot a couple times?
Over near the pool table. No, I'm just kidding. Don't blue light over near the pool tables.
I thought you people did that in the bathroom.
Yeah, no, I mean to wherever,
Yeah, that's true. It is the Shoot.
Sometimes if you slip.
Where isn't the bathroom?
If you slip, you're like, what did I slip on? And you're like, I don't see anything. That's what it was. It was ejaculate. Yeah. I just wanted to say that word.
Ejaculate. Not ejaculate.
Such a gross word.
It's kind of a great word, though.
Okay, so wait.
Okay, wait.
If you put together Jackie Joyner Kersee and ejaculate, somehow you would have a greatest drag name. Remember Jackie Joyner Kersee, who was like early 90s like runner? Jackie Joyner Kersee and ejaculate. Jackie, who was Mary.
Oh my God, Jackie!
Yeah, so ejaculate.
That's so hard to say, but I think we need to workshop this. Okay, keep coming back to it because there's gold there in them hills.
There's gold there in them hills.
There's a snake in that boot.
So
at the Shoot.
I'm
sorry. Toby doesn't do. He used to do.
Yes.
He used to do.
Yes.
And now he don't do.
Well done. Going back to that.
So good. Seamless. Hire me.
So Toby and Angie and Nicole sang backup vocals for them and sang their nuts off, because he sang his nuts off, and he still does. He plays around town. Shout out to Chris Mitchell if you ever listen to this. But like back in the day, it was the shit to do in Nashville, and everybody did it. Whenever there's a show, they packed it out. So he had some insight for me for when I was doing shows, because I sort of was thrust into doing shows because I was working with. I got lots of words. You're
just walking right into it. You're just thrust into doing shows.
Thrust into doing shows.
So you were thrusting, and he helped you with your thrusting?
He was able to guide me through the thrust.
Get a little turned on here. Okay.
No. So the actual story about this.
Check back on our OnlyFans for the other part of the story.
However, we will do Patreon at some point, and so anything that would be more like if you ever want to go deeper into anything. Deeper.
If you want to thrust anything, more deeply into
uprightandfancy@gmail.com. Find us there.
Also, I think you were saying that sex questions. I was like, Chris, how do you feel about sex questions? And you were like, for the Patreon.
Yes.
So I love this because you know your worth, and you're gonna like at a paid level. I'll tell you whatever.
Sure, because it's private and it's just between us, us squirrel friends.
We don't even have a Patreon, but when we do, and you want to,
if you want to know something that we probably wouldn't say on here.
I mean, at least he wouldn't. I probably would try not to, but I only have so much control over.
I get it.
Yeah.
Especially when we start going. I don't know if y'all know this, but we are talkers. I have been called and was called during my life coaching thing by the instructor, one of the instructors. I was called verbose.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which I think the word is amazing. The feel of it, it's fun to say. It looks cool.
It's complimentary.
You know, there's a lot, but like at the time, I felt like it was a dig. I didn't think it was like the second or third dig that I felt from her that day.
Oh yeah.
Funny. But then the very next day, it wasn't there at all. So clearly, I made the whole thing up because I was whooped, and I was nervous. But at the time, I was like,
would you call me verbose? I mean, I think verbose is a lovely. It can be a little bit, it can be a read, but it can. I think mostly it's an appreciative term.
I think. I have since taken it as such, and I realized that I made the whole thing up in my head. But
isn't that the case with so many things?
Yeah,
I would not just with you personally. I constantly am just making things up in my head that I'm like, oh, that's not that perception. Oh, wait, we the check-in. Did we?
Well, yeah. Okay, that's actually when we started talking because I'd actually forgotten about something about talking about Toby singing backup vocals, and I was about to do that, and then I was like, oh yeah, and we jumped back in that conversation.
No. I am no one to correct anyone on their.
Not a correction, but you're right. We should do like a wee little check-in.
Well, so the check-in. I think we were talking about the karaoke that we went to a fun party.
Father figure.
And there weren't dry undies in the house, ladies and gentlemen. And so I got to do, so my favorite karaoke song is not for everyone, and you don't make friends with people by doing this song unless they are your people. But Lauren, who is our people, loved this idea. And my favorite karaoke song is Because the Night by Patti Smith. And it's so much fucking fun to sing. You
guys threw down on that.
Because the night belongs to the Lord. Because the night belongs to the Lord.
Talk about wet britches.
I mean, at one point I was like fully on my knees. It's just so much fun.
There's pictures. I sent you one of you on your knees. It's amazing.
Babe City is all I've got to say.
To be able to do that with the birthday girl during the birthday party is really something.
I was just so thrilled that she was into it because it is, I remember the last time we rented a karaoke, we're not, as I said, not a big singer, and in Nashville, karaoke stuff is like it's serious obnoxious because it's just like, people are just not having fun. They're there to demonstrate their abilities.
To throw down.
Yeah. They're just there to put like a ego bid into like, I can say that, like, oh yeah, my husband used to work with this guy who used to say, like, there were so many people at my show this weekend, and you'd find out it was just a fucking karaoke bar.
No!
Yeah, and it was like, but I think a lot of people, they like, there's so many people here for my show. Yes. But I'm not, I mean, have your fun the way you want to, but I can sing. I like to do karaoke for fun. I like to sing badly. If anyone's been paying attention, they know this about me. Well, I mean, I'm trying to work with what I have. I'd love to sing well.
Yeah.
if anyone wants to give me vocal lessons, I'm all here.
Well, again, you were on harmony on that one point.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And so like we did karaoke for my friend's bachelorette party. We rented a room, which I think is like the best idea because you're just with your friends. You're in control of the music.
Yeah.
And I was waiting to get up the courage to do Because of the Night, and I did it towards the end of the evening. And I think 2 friends like walked out. They were just like, I just can't. This is so loud.
No.
I mean, it was, it's
That's
not for
funny.
everyone.
I loved it.
Thank you.
And I thought it was really a shining moment of the night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we had that fun.
Yes.
Also, I saw Blonde Redhead this week. They were so good.
Blonde Redhead is a band?
They are a band.
Okay.
They are a band that I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think peak popularity was early aughts, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe earlier, maybe late 90s. But it's a lovely Japanese lady and 2 very attractive Italian twins.
Okay.
And now they're in their they must be in their mid 50s or something. And they are so fucking hot still.
I love it.
And it's like, I just have to say that like there are a few things more inspiring than just like seeing people that are like, older than you. Like, especially
They're
like
fucking killing it.
Yeah, just fucking killing it. And also like genuinely, it's not just like, oh, they look great for their age. It's like, no, they just look fucking great.
They look amazing.
Yeah. And and of course they sounded amazing. It was a great show.
That. I love that. I love there's something transformative about seeing a live band that is just an incredible show. It really is.
Yeah, and it was something that I really like, as we were talking about the midlife crisis thing and kind of being a second adolescence. I was very into Blonde Redhead during my actual adolescence, like, being early 20s, late teens. And so it's like there's something that's so amazing about like, I don't know, seeing a band that you like loved, and especially in like a small venue, and like,
especially for a long time. Yeah, no, I get that.
It was really, it was lovely. So if you get a chance to see Blonde Redhead, they're also playing at that Eclipse Festival, I believe is happening during that huge full eclipse in April.
Yeah, okay.
And
I have thought of 15 stories to tell about that. So like,
oh my God.
just things, but like I've had to pick later.
Yeah. So now it actually is time for the fishbowl, but I do.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to add to the check-in before we fishbowl it?
I don't really. Well, so my recent what I've done recently is I got to hang out with my mom.
Ooh, look at you, Mama's boy.
And it was always and forever. And it's funny
Mother
because
boy.
I got there and we had a lovely night, and then the next day I felt like I didn't sleep all that well, and I felt kind of down, and I don't know. I've had emotional like kind of it's weird for me to talk, like it's weird to talk about whatever, but like I've had kind of ups and downs, and I had a little bit of a down, and her stomach hurt, and so the whole day we were like grumble. But then we hung out, and the next day we were like on top of it, but she was there to like for me to once again, as in the past, she was there for me to talk to, and she gave me like, to her, I've come to understand that is good to her, to help me, like that's that motherly thing is to be like, you know what, I actually don't feel great today, and I'd love for you, and it was like her favorite thing in the whole world, and it made me feel, so it was and then we hung out the next day, and I interviewed her for my podcast.
Yes.
Which was hilarious. We recorded 20 minutes of it, and my iPad shut down because it was too full, and deleted the whole thing.
Doing the video part of this podcast is just killing all of your devices one by one.
I've got it figured out now, though. I'm on this now. But I got to interview her for that, and we laughed and guffawed. We waited for a little bit later, and we just peed in our pants laughing and stuff like that. But anyway,
I love it.
That's my check-in, is that I've had a really lovely time in Birmingham with my mom.
It's so nice. I like when I go to Alabama, I'm always like, oh, what fresh hell is this? And when I'm like, you're going to Alabama,
fresh hell.
I know. I mean, it can also be a little bit of a stank hell, but like, sometimes it's a fresh hell. But that's like best case scenario, and that I guess is my point. Our shifts in perspective. I was like, have fun in Alabama, and you were like, I will.
And I meant it.
I not one time have said, oh, weird.
And I meant it. I had a great time. I got to hang out with my friends, whom I adore down there, and I wish I could hang out with them all the time. And their kids, they're amazing kids. All of their kids are amazing. I don't know. It's just, and then I got to hang out with my mom, and we got to eat, and we laughed and watched a show. We started a show on Apple TV that the two of us were like, for 4 full, we watched 4 episodes, and the 5th one's coming out on Wednesday, and it just was like, it's called Constellation. And it is riveting, which is a funny word to me, like I can't even say it, but it was riveting. It's like, I kept thinking, like it was, for Mom and I talked about it for an hour after watching every episode we watched.
Oh my God.
We like talked, and we didn't even mean to.
We didn't even know anything about this.
We sat like this and talked about what that scene meant, and well, what do we think is going on there?
What's the like elevator pitch of like the show?
I'll try to do an elevator pitch that's not spoiler. An astronaut. There's an accident in space. Okay, so what I read about it is there was an accident in space, and this is just my paraphrasing. An accident in space, and when the woman comes back home, things aren't as they seem. And so that's pretty much the elevator pitch.
Okay.
And it is like, what? Oh God!
Ooh,
what is happening?
The lead?
It's a beautiful. I want to like has maybe a Scottish voice or an English voice or something like that. I don't know what her regular one is like, but she's supposed to be like British or something. Something. She has an accent, and she's beautiful, but very like thoughtful. And the little girl is in it, and she's amazing. And
so it's not like a big name cast necessarily. It's just like really great acting.
I don't even know.
I like that.
I don't even know who and to be fair, I'm also watching an incredible show with Toby called Marcella, and it's amazing. And I'm getting the two mixed up. But Constellation, I watched with my mom, and it was incredible.
And we're doing our best. No, sometimes I just have that moment where I'm just like, oh, and I confused it with another thing. And
yeah, well, I didn't, but I came damn close to it. They're both amazing, but Constellation, I have to say, is one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. It is so interesting, and I know that it's all subjective, and this is astronaut and like creepy, scary, monstery, but maybe not monstery at all. Like something's going down, and I have no idea what it is, but other people are in on it.
Yeah,
you know that kind
I love that. Yeah. That sounds great.
It's amazing.
And if anyone ever wants to hear, we're already so behind on time, but if anyone ever wants to hear any hot takes about the new season of True Detective,
ooh,
I'd
like to watch that as well.
Pretty fancy.
Yeah.
Gmail.com. You haven't seen it? Oh my God. I haven't seen it yet. No, I don't know. It's a whole thing. We should.
Okay, we are watching Marcella, which is also a great. I would definitely recommend it. It is fantastic.
Also, and if anyone wants to, he hasn't seen the Barbie movie yet. And if anybody wants to watch us watch the Barbie movie, let us know.
Yes, that would be so fun.
Figure out how to do that.
We'll figure that shit out. All right. Fishbowl topic. We just added.
Didn't do the fishbowl song.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's a fishbowl song, and I'm gonna play the.
Yeah, and we'll see how this goes. Say, fishbowl, fishbowl, put your hand in the hole, pick something out, take a look. What is there to say?
I love put your hand in the hole.
I know, that's the best part. And the what is there to say thing is so awkward on purpose, but I do think we need to workshop it.
I mean it's pretty great. I'm just judging them up. It's fine. It is a fantastic.
Put your hand in the hole. We can put our hands in the same hole. I'm okay with that.
This needs to be another sung part. I think every part of our show, and we need to have a question answer one too. Song. I think we need one for every one of them because it's amazing.
Ooh, what do you want to know from a medium? Like a psychic medium.
Ooh, a psychic medium like Frank.
Yeah.
You have a
Don't
thing.
Don't tell people.
You have a thing coming soon with him.
I do. Okay, there's someone who's amazing. Oh no, I just mean obviously people
not give away our secret.
There's an amazing psychic in Nashville, and it already takes a very long time to get an appointment.
I just signed up for an appointment, and the nearest one was September 2025.
But
so I took that shit.
Yes, you did.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
Yes. My appointment at long last will be in June, and I'm so excited.
Wow. Okay.
And also, I have to say, after a very strange year, the last year has been such a, I don't know, and I just mean like, calendar year from today, not like a particular, but it's like everything just like sort of, everything just kind of got shaken up and put back in a different place. And I think that, having this idea of like, you know what, in June of 2024, I'm gonna ask him about it.
Yeah.
And it really, like, for some reason, I mean, it's also, I have seen, besides just reputation, I went with my friend to her appointment. We were talking to her sadly deceased brother, and she actually, we made our appointments at the same time. I made mine before hers. But there was but they got back to her and had this cancellation, which like never happened.
Yeah, it says specifically on there's no cancellation list.
Yeah, and I truly believe it was her brother, because her brother was and is, I believe, a shit starter and a magician and all that. And so I think he had a lot to do with that. So I got to be a guest in that one, and I was just, anyway, so there are just lots of things that I'm just like, you know what, I'll wait till next year, and I have this light at the end of the tunnel. I'll ask him about it.
So are you more of going in, because now that it's actually going to be happening for you?
Oh my gosh.
Are you going in thinking, come to me, whatever wants to come to me, or to me, whatever wants to come to me, or are you, I have to know this very specific thing?
I'm gonna say, Frank, come in me. Give me everything you have.
So I can have your psychic.
I mean,
swimmers.
I wouldn't say no. I'm not his.
I don't really know what he looks like, but
he's gay. He would, so he's my type, but I'm not his type. Just kidding. Oh my god. Also, I found some pictures I'll have to show. I'll have to share if anyone cares. But from when I met that German guy and I fell in love with him, and the Schminken story. Yeah. I found pictures from that night of like big pink flowers like painted on his face and stuff. It would be I think there were fur leg warmers involved.
Anything is pretty amazing. I mean, unless it's like mink.
No, it was
or some sort of animal.
No, it was faux. But yeah, there were signs there that little Kara just didn't see. But anyway,
okay, so is there something specific from a medium, or are you going in blind on purpose?
Well, I mean,
because it's validity in both ways.
So there's another person who's incredible, who I'm very happy to boost on the program, because you have to wait sometimes, but it's not nearly as long as this other. But she's in Greensboro, North Carolina, where I used to live, and her name is Sky Bradshaw, and you can look up Tarot by Sky, and she is fucking phenomenal. Cool. And I just recently had an appointment with her, and she does Reiki too, anyway, she's fantastic. And basically with all of these appointments, like you start out, I don't know, they ask, do you have specific questions you want to start with? But my normal process is we just see what comes up. Yeah. And typically every single time that we just see what comes up, it is just what I had on my mind is addressed right away. And so I think that it's nice to kind of have some thoughts beforehand about like what you want to talk about, or maybe like a list in your phone or something, just in case you kind of just blank. But I think it's really nice to just sort of like go in thinking about
an open mind about stuff. Yeah, because didn't you say that they, when you went in with your friend, that he's talked to you a little bit?
He did, yeah.
Because it just is what it is.
He's seeing what he's seeing.
Just because you didn't, because you're still sitting there.
Yeah, I mean, I had to, like, it was like terrible, because I so badly wanted to hear what he was saying, but I was feeling so bad, because this is Emily's time to talk to her brother. Yeah. Who she lost, just like 3.5 years ago. And there, I didn't want to take any of that time away, but then he would just be like, and you, and I'd be like, and so, I did hear some things about myself, but I tried to turn it to Emily. But also Emily and I have known each other so long that the other time we tried to see a psychic together, they kept confusing our energies, and we were like, they kept saying things for the other person, but it was like it wasn't just like the psychic wasn't good. It was like a very clear, and she was like, it's so weird. I can't tell your energies apart.
That's fun. That's good though, right?
Yeah. And
your energies were probably intertwined.
Yes. I mean, but it was very fun. And so I think that going in, I don't know, I have so many things that I want to know about, but I don't think they'd be very interesting for other people. But I feel like in general, it is just the most, I don't know, there are a lot of people out there that are, maybe they have good intentions, but not great qualities, or they have, not great talent, or they have bad intentions, and they may want to, they may want to just like take your money and tell you whatever. But but the experiences that I've had, there's just undeniable, unfuckwithable proof in my own heart. Like, okay, whatever this is, it's real.
I fully believe in all those things. I've seen a soul reader that like zoned out and saw things above my head, and saw past lives and stuff that make complete and total sense in my life.
Yeah.
And she didn't know anything about me. I did not come in and tell her anything. And it made complete and total sense in my life. And she gave me a CD. She recorded the whole thing. She was like, some of these things that I'm going to tell you might not make sense to you now, but they will in the future. And I listen to it every once in a while. But I went to a tarot card reader and all that.
I do the voice memo on my phone now. And I do go back and listen to it because I used to make notes, but like your brain is just sort of... It just
doesn't, yeah.
And so like the voice...
second I try to remember something, I've forgotten everything behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. So what would you like to talk to a medium about, my dear? So
I would definitely want to go in with an open mind because I've got a few family members that I would really love to talk to. My grandmother would be great. She'd be super fun to talk to. But my dad is really the one that I have wanted to.
Yeah.
That's like the main reason I would ever think when we very first started watching the New Jersey one. Who's amazing. It's so fun. Those long ass nails and the big hair.
Yes.
Teresa. Is that her name, Teresa?
I know who you're talking about, but I don't
She's
really
great.
know
Her hair's gotten bigger.
She is wild looking.
The newest season that's out now, her new promo shots, it's like twice as big, which is
of
crazy.
Course.
Yeah. And she's
closer to God.
And she's itty bitty, yeah. But
I keep coaster sounds.
I keep doing that shit too. It's a little ASMR. But I would like to talk to my dad.
Your dad passed away when you were 13.
When I was 13, and I just didn't understand anything, and so I didn't know.
How long was he sick?
Not super long. He was. There was like something that happened a couple years before, but it was taken care of. We thought, and like the next year they gave him like 2 years. Once they realized how far it had gotten, they gave him like 2 years, but it was like 6 months. So it was pretty quick. But I would like to talk to him because I just didn't get to know him all that well, and I'd love to. This is what I interviewed my mom about, was his family and his childhood, which I was always closer to my mom than my dad, which would have changed over time, of course. It would have, I was about to get to that time when I would have gone on trips with just him. He did it with both my other brothers, but like I was too young, whatever. So so I know it would have switched over to that, but I just would love to have gotten to know him a little bit better.
Of course.
So him, but I wonder also a little bit, because I think I told you that Barbados trip I had where my coach died. I wonder if he would pop in. Because that was such a singular moment, I mean, that was like a I mean, there were like 6 of us out in the water.
I mean, when you watch someone die, there's a connection. It
was for the listeners, the upright and fancy listeners we have.
The listenership.
For anybody that's listening, my coach died drowned in the water when I was in Barbados, of all places. I went down with my soccer trip.
Can I say that you were sent down there to get away from your dad being sick and the death and sadness at home, and then this happened in Barbados?
Me and my middle brother were sent down, and we were just so young. Like, I was so naive. We were all super young, and there were 2 coaches, and there were like 16 of us. Like, just not enough. And I was maybe the youngest, I think, in the whole thing, which I was always the youngest in everything. But my mom sent us down there for like a school soccer trip, and one of the coaches had family down there or whatever. And there were like 4 or 5 of us that went out in the water with both coaches before they had time to put the red flag up on the thing. So we didn't even see it. We were super early in the morning, and 2 of the kids got taken out. Both coaches tried to save them. One of them, then they realized they couldn't, and one of them got back, and the other one didn't. And he drowned, and another dude. The kids were okay, but another guy that was on his honeymoon that went out in the water to help everybody died as well. And the whole day was surreal, and everything was crazy.
Them up on the beach, and were trying to revive them in front of you,
yeah,
right?
It was a different way of reviving. I've never seen this before, but I guess it's old school to try to somebody's back, instead of their front.
Trying to get the water out of their lungs.
Yeah, I mean, it was working, but it was. They think he was in great shape, but they think he had like a heart attack out there because he got freaked out and he had a heart attack.
Well, also riptides are just like, it doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are. It really doesn't.
Full cruising.
I mean, it helps clearly. But
yeah. Full circle. No, but you can be the greatest swimmer of all time, and if you go out there, you can get whooped because you're not going to beat the tide.
You're not going to beat the ocean.
Yeah, but it feels like you should, because the farther you go out, the more you get lost and whatever. But really, truly, you come back in.
Respect the ocean, ladies and gentlemen.
So full circle. That was when I was 13, and I met an amazing couple girls down there. One girl especially, she and I became pen pals at the time, because that was how old it was. This was in '89.
That's adorable.
But we've kept in touch. So and she and all of her friends helped get everybody in, and it was it was a whole thing. The whole community was there. So I have always had these horrible memories of Barbados. Like the word Barbados would trigger those memories.
Yeah.
The area, all of it would immediately be like awfulness. So I went back on a cruise ship and went and spent a full day with Andrea and Sarah Jane, the other girl in there, and we had a great time, and we ate flying fish sandwiches. What? And went around Barbados and had a lovely time, and I've had dinner up there with her as well, and so the memories of Barbados have been switched out.
That's like a therapeutic experience to be.
It was overly just overtly therapeutic, and although their airport is a beast, it is not the funnest airport of all time. But I did anyway. All of that to say, if and when I go see Frank, I'm wondering if Coach might pop in. Coach might pop in.
I said his name like 50 times. I'm sorry, I shushed you.
Sorry. I wasn't supposed to say. I'll blip it out.
No. I mean, it's only a matter of time, honestly. Like, there are people that are just incredibly talented. Oh, sorry, I need to hold the bowl for you.
Yeah,
put your hand in my hole.
But go ahead.
Take something out. Take a look. What is there to say?
Were you done with your thought before I pick one out?
I guess I was probably done with that thought, but the last thought I have about psychic mediums is that I think the only time it doesn't work if you're with someone talented, if you go in trying to prove them wrong, because if you close your mind, like there's a lot of power in intention, and I think that I know that sounds very dumb and woo-woo, but there's a lot of things that have to do with consent and permission about exchanges of energy, like in Reiki and stuff, it's like you agree to receive it, it is something that is, and so when you really shut down and you're just you
literally can't do anything.
It's very talented people will have a very difficult time. So if you actually want to get the most of that experience, don't do the thing where you're just like, I'm not going to give anything away. Obviously, most people do not need any information and actually ask you not to give them any information. And as soon as we sat down in my appointment with Emily and her, he was like, is there a mat here? As soon as we sat down.
That's crazy. When you go on a ship and there's a hypnotist will perform as well, and it'll be a comedy hypnotist where they bring people up and stuff. But I have one good hypnotist friend named Brenda Kay, who is amazing, and she's so fun. She would be the perfect person to interview on here.
You can interview her on a ship, maybe.
But that'd be so fun. But she always says at the beginning of everything, can anybody be hypnotized? Yes. Can you be hypnotized if you don't want to be, or you're being hardcore about it? No.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try. So if I only want people that want to be. If you want to be, then I can help you get there. Like that's it. It's so true though. Like
I hope she gives that speech before sex too.
Hopefully, hopefully.
I can help you get there if you want it. Sorry. What is your question, my love?
Okay, it's little, so I feel like it's
That's
new.
a little
I feel like
one.
I feel like it's one of the new ones. What fan fiction would you write?
Ooh.
I remember reading that out there.
We got nerdy questions out of here this time.
Did.
I
we
love
did.
it.
I'm all right with it because
Yeah.
both of one thing that we connect on is nerdiness.
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah,
if you were listening, he has a shirt on that is just a giant picture of his cat's face. R.I.P. Leroy.
Leroy. Sweet Leroy. Toby made this shirt for me, and I literally don't get any chance to wear it. So I thought Upright and Fancy is the perfect chance to wear it. If you are just listening, it's literally crooked, sweet face with
It's
this
an extreme close-up.
Oh, it's extreme close-up, and I just want to love on him. He was the best Kitty. Ooh, hopefully Kitty comes up in my psychic reading. That would be great.
Oh, that would be nice.
I was like, is there a Leroy in your...
Well, no. Okay, this is one thing that's crazy. Okay, I'm so sorry. I keep deterring us. We just have so much to say, y'all.
Yeah,
I hope you like it. I hope you're ready to receive it. And
but
this isn't a...
size of file... we're
Oh yes, we have to worry about the file size also.
But it's
also, if anyone out
now.
there is like a tech guru who would like to help us with file storage questions, especially big video file kind of things.
On my phone and on my iPad and
all the
stuff,
things.
It's hardcore.
Reach out. Upright and Fancy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why did I just pick up the one about mediumship? I don't know. So sorry. Oh no.
Yeah, you were going to say something
Emily's dog.
important.
So Emily had the...
Oh, did she come up in psychic?
Yes. Oh, it was so fucking wild. Sorry, I just clapped into the microphone. Emily had the Soul Connection dog, and she asked, like, when it came time for the question, she said, is Arlo with Matt? Arlo, her beloved soul dog.
Yeah.
And we just saw him look kind of into the middle of distance, and he was like, Arlo. Is Arlo an animal? Arlo's a dog. Arlo's like light brown and tan. Like literally just somehow he just like going through and like described the exact like size and coloration.
So weird.
And she just said Arlo. She just said are Matt and Arlo together. And he was like, Arlo's a animal. And she just said yes. And the rest he just was like,
that's crazy.
It was fucking wild.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's the kind of shit that it's like, I believe in it. Sorry. Like what? How?
I believe in it.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Life is short. Enjoy the pleasures. Enjoy the unknowns. Because if you don't enjoy the unknowns, then like you're not going to enjoy life very much, or you're going to trust the wrong people. Yes. Because anyone who tells you that they know everything is lying to you.
Yeah, except for me. We know everything.
I don't know everything.
I'm just kidding.
I am okay. The question about the fan fiction.
Fan fiction. I honestly like when because I wrote that on there today. I honestly am not sure. So I grew up with comic books. Mm-hmm. So in my head,
that can be fan fiction.
In my head, I would do fan fiction about because you know what I would do. So when I was younger. For years I did this. I even took pictures of them all and wrote their names out on a damn thing so I could...
Yes, this is what we want to hear.
My little G.I. Joes. But like I collected the little G.I. Joes, but I also collected everything else. So in this bag, in any sort of bag, I would have a G.I. Joe, a Bionic 6, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, which was not my favorite.
Did you have a fister in there?
Hey man, I had a Fisto. His name was Fisto, and he had a giant fist, and he just wanted to go fist things. That was like what he said. Like,
and you were like, this resonates with me for some reason.
Why is that cool? We didn't thank the good Lord above. There was not a Google image of that when I was 12 years old or 8 years old when I was watching this. Poor 8-year-old people now looking at Fisto. But anyway, so I had He-Man and I had whatever. Transformers and GoBots and all of them, and they were all together. So one of my favorite comic books is called Legion of Superheroes, and when I was young, I read it all the time because they were like countless members, but there was like a roster of like 20, but they had all these side characters, and they all had like, you knew who all of them were. It was just written really, really well, especially back then. And you knew who all the characters were, and there were just tons of them. And so all of my people, I had good guys and bad guys, and every single one of them had a superpower and had a story. It had some sort of like thing, and they were like together, and they were like whatever. And of course, I always like wondered about the size difference between like a He-Man doll and a thing, and I'm like, ooh, dirty. But
actually, a weirdly appropriate height for.
I don't under.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So anyway, if I were to write fan fiction. This is a totally dorky answer. I would write it about my entire team of because they all had different names, they all had different powers, and
but I love this because it's taking like your own invention completely. Like it's not the people within that universe. You're just like mixing the universe, and like I love that. I think that's beautiful. I used to play with my toys that way too, where I would have all the things from the different like that's Strawberry Shortcake, that's She-Ra, that's Barbie, that's My Little Pony, and like it would all be in the same lovely world. I don't know. It's so hard with the fanfic because I feel like
it's a difficult question. I think.
I mean, some people really. I mean, it's not a difficult question. They very much enjoy it. I think I have a friend who I think has written an entire book of like Pride and Prejudice fanfic,
I honestly think it's a really fun way of thinking of things because you take characters that you know from some sort of literary or comic book or history or anything, and then you decide how they handle certain situations. I think is a really cool way of thinking about stuff. I just can't think of. I personally can't think of people that I would. I've read really super dirty Captain America and his sidekick fan fiction, and like Bucky or whatever. Like his.
Did it move? Do you like it? Move the needle?
So my friend Renee, who might actually listen to this, she is incredible, and she would be a fantastic person to talk to because she edits fantasy science fiction books.
Oh my god, yes, okay.
That's what she does for a freaking living. She reads this, these for a living. Yeah, so.
We got this question so that we could have Renee on the podcast.
Yes.
So, hey, Renee.
Hi, Renee. She needs to be on the podcast.
I feel like for me, I don't know, there's so many things I've been such a fangirl of. I feel like I could... The easiest answer would probably be Labyrinth fanfic because it was such a...
What a good call. Good call.
Whenever David Bowie is a character, oh my god, the best dream I ever had, I think, in my whole life. I was like maybe 13 or 14, and it was just a dream that David Bowie and I spent the entire day together, and he liked me. Like, it was just a friendship dream. Amazing. Just me and David Bowie hanging out, and it was so blissful.
I had one of those about a girl named Kathy Dennis, who was like a 90s...
David Bowie, Kathy Dennis.
Me, baby, drive me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Touch me all night long. Like, not Whitney. Not Mariah. But me and Kathy Dennis were meant to be friends. So that's my only experience.
If you're listening.
Yeah, I love you, Kathy.
He's available.
She also wrote Toxic.
For Britney Spears?
She wrote Toxic. And a moment like this for Kelly Clarkson when she won American Idol.
Yeah, that song's an impressive song.
Listen, I love Kathy Dennis. Do not talk bad about her.
No,
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to say it.
I mean, it's very much like a song that is just like meant to be like merchandised.
Yes,
and
of course.
It's
Toxic,
beautiful.
Toxic is the shit. And I Kissed a Girl.
I Kissed a Girl?
Yeah, she's pretty much.
I think that you were.
She's the best.
Yeah, so if you're listening,
I love me some Kathy.
We'd love you to be together with Chris.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you.
So Labyrinth fan fiction.
Probably Labyrinth because of David Bowie, but I would have a really good time writing She-Ra fan fiction because as we were talking about it, as we were just very recently talking about, the He-Man She-Ra universe is so wild and like and
full-bodied. There's new He-Man shows that are out.
Yeah, and the She-Ra show too. Well, and like people really love them. There's a lot. At least the She-Ra one is like very like anime inspired. Like, and I love it. It's just like it doesn't ring the same bells because one of the things that I love so much about She-Ra and He-Man is the color palette.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar, this does nothing for you. But the color palette of She-Ra and He-Man is so good, and I find it so visually so beautiful. A lot of times you can find it streaming anywhere for free.
Yeah.
Zach and I used to be our like wind down show, and we used to just watch. We just went through She-Ra.
I love it. No, you're right. The color palette's really amazing.
And like all of the plot is just so fucking weird.
It's weird.
Everything about it is weird. There's a bunch of stuff that's like very seems overtly sexual. Yeah. Bo is the gayest motherfucker.
His friend.
Yeah.
I mean, her friend dude. The dude. He's definitely
but that's not his name. Who is his?
I don't know.
He's the arrow. I don't.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. So basically, I feel like that would be so fun.
I would read the shit.
Okay. Well, maybe we should do it.
Should we take a 2-second pause here and get more to drink?
Sure.
Okay.
MP.
All right. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm like this.
Okay. We have refreshed the timer. We have refreshed ourselves. Oh, no, I forgot my drink in there.
I can get you a drink. Keep
sorry. No. Okay, so we have gotten to the advice section of the podcast where we are, we actually have our very first. Oh,
look, I have 2.
You have 2. You have my crazy water bottle full of stickers. Look like a child, but
But I love it. The advice section.
The advice section. We have our very first audio.
Voice? Yeah, yes. So exciting.
And she did record it while in the car. Let's see. She and she also just sent me a picture of her meeting a donkey named Minnie Pearl.
Oh my God! Come on.
Oh, okay. So anyone watching at home, this is her with a donkey named Minnie Pearl.
That's an amazing picture. Come on.
I mean, yes. And so she was driving to a gig, and so it was the quality is not great. Chris is going to try to zhuzh it in post, but I'm going to to speak technically.
Yeah.
I know you guys, you get it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can hear.
Hey y'all, this is Emily calling from Greensboro, North Carolina, and I just had a question about what do you do with your eyes when you were talking to people? Because I just had about 4 eye surgeries. I never really could see before that, even though I didn't really know that was the case. And when I am talking to people now, it's like so much information I'm taking all at once. My eyes must have been all over the place before. I have no idea, but what is the appropriate thing to do? Or this direct eye contact just seems a little extreme. And there's so much to take in. I feel like I could be looking at just scanning everything around us and between us the whole time. But what do y'all do? Do you look at people? Do you look away from people? How do you talk to them with your eyes, without your eyes?
Oops.
So the question is, where do you look when you're talking to someone? I think when we listen to it before, and I can try to figure it out to listen to all of them when I do it. But
the ending question was like basically, what do you do with your eyes when you're talking to someone?
Yeah.
Because this lovely person, Emily, has just had 4 eye surgeries, which are crazy. Like it really like stuff of the future. They just like popped her old lens out, put a robot lens in, and before that, she really was legally blind, and like there wasn't a lens that was strong enough to correct her vision, yet still driving. She's a wild human being, but also a magical one. And the fact that she's still alive can only be explained by magic. Yeah. And so
lovely, sweet, amazing.
And magic. So she had a bunch of eye surgeries, and now for the first time in her life, at 40 years old, she can see. And so there are all these things that like she's just like, I like stars.
It's
oh my gosh, I never.
A lot of sensory information I can imagine.
And
I would imagine.
She's looking at people, and she's having conversations. And before, I've had conversations with her plenty before her surgeries, and she did seem to have eye contact, but you could tell she wasn't totally there.
Yeah.
And I think because that her personality it just kind of made sense, but it even more makes sense of like you're not really processing a lot of the actual information about what's in front of you. You're just looking.
You take for granted how much information you really do bring in by looking at things. Like
yes.
Like we
take
in so much all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now she's in this place where she feels a little overwhelmed and distracted while conversating.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're looking at someone?
So I have gotten, especially like as an adult, quote unquote, where I make complete eye contact.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do remember when that wasn't either as easy or as like second nature as it is. I remember there being times in my life where I would look away and whatever and feel weird. And what it also, but like, so now I've understood that's...
It's a process.
It's a process, but once you can sit in it, it makes it, like, one of the things I don't know, it's a powerful statement to be able to look at somebody in the eyes.
Yeah.
And sometimes
People
it can be
used
intimidating.
To get freaked out because I don't have a problem with eye contact, and
Yeah.
it used to freak so many people
Yeah.
out. And maybe I have crazy eyes as well, but I don't know. But I feel a lot of people just aren't used to people making total eye contact.
Yeah. It's a little intimidating, but like once I realized that was a thing, I've felt much better. I will say one time I was performing at Jeff Ruby downtown. Ooh. And our friend Stephanie, who's amazing, and we'd always hair flip. If you're watching, Stephanie, this is for you. She has a kid now and is amazing. But so she asked me one time, she came to Jeff Ruby and like I'd look down and I'd sing to her or whatever, and I'd see her kind of look away or whatever, and she said later on, does that make people like it I didn't know what to do, and you looked at me like it because I didn't, like I didn't, it made her feel kind of weird. And so like I make a real deal of it on stage when I'm on
like
stage,
cruise ships?
on cruise ships, where I'm looking at you and I'm singing,
Yeah.
Here I am, baby, and then I look over at them and I look over at them. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
But all of that came with, I completely understand the intimidation, and not even intimidated in a this is bigger than you, but that it's so much information.
So much information.
And to be able, it just takes a second, but once you can do it, it'll be like, fuck yeah, I'm looking at you right now. I'm cool. Like it gives you power.
Yeah,
it's
also
it's a powerful thing.
I think another thing too is when you're talking to people you've talked to before you had surgeries on your eyes and things. Like you're also integrating the blur that used to be them with the actual reality of them, totally. And that's a whole process.
You were adding to their profile.
Yeah, exactly. You're like Terminator profile,
filling out more of that questionnaire about them in your head.
Yeah, and that's distracting as well.
Yeah.
And I think that also you should just give yourself grace, because it is just, I don't think there's not one way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know. And like, I think that everyone has their own comfort, they're like the balance that makes them comfortable with eye contact. And I try not to stare people down.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like I don't know, it also helps me keep track of the conversation, because I am ADD as a day is long, so as soon
I'm daft.
But I'm a daydreamer. I can just like look over your shoulder and be like, oh, and I'm there now.
Pretty bird.
Yeah, pretty bird.
Squirrel.
Yeah. And so I think that it's also self-serving in that way. But I think that I don't know. It's very much fine to just like look when you're comfortable and like just kind of go back to eye contact at like throughout parts of the conversation, but there's no need to be as like direct eye contact as Chris and I are. I mean, we're a little extra. And this person, just because I know her personally, I know that she is very extra on stage and very quiet as like just you're just talking to you
very
kind of a person.
Sasha Fierce and Beyonce.
A little bit. Yeah. And so I don't know. It's I think it's totally fine to just sort of give yourself grace and feel it out and understand that like it's a lot for people who have been filtering out stuff for so long, but it's extra a lot for someone who has just like, there's so like everything, you just have so much like uploading in your brain at all times that like you're trying to integrate, and it's a lot.
I think that the key to it is you do what's comfortable for you, and everybody else will deal.
Yeah.
Because you have yet to figure out where your comfort level is. So just stare, look when you want to, and just don't give a shit about what anybody else is thinking.
That's true. I think that
because it's your comfort level that matters. You'll get to wherever you're.
What creeps people out, I think, has so much to do with like what you're bringing to it. You know, something that would be fun. True. Like if I'm not saying that you were creeping out your person at that show, but like I think that like obviously when you're having fun on stage, the people in the audience are just like, oh my god, me, and they love it. And I think that like when I remember one time I was looking at this girl and I couldn't stop making eye contact when I was like scared during a book report in like 9th grade, and like I could tell she was like freaked out, but I just was just like, this is my center point. I'm so sorry. And but like she felt weird about it because I was being a weirdo. But I think most of the time it's just like if you're comfortable, they're comfortable. But if you're so just
to Stephanie's defense on the Jeff Ruby thing, it was a really weird stage, and I was close to her, but I couldn't move, and it felt like I was like, you know, singing "Here I Am, Baby," just like right here, you know what I mean? Like, and I couldn't move, and it was weird, and so it was a little bit strange.
Also, some people really like just naturally hate to have attention, like of a crowd brought to them. Yeah. I remember one of my of all my life regrets. There are so many that would be better regrets than this, but it's like I went to this Bridget Everett show at Zany's, who I'm obsessed with. Do you know Bridget Everett? Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Lord have mercy. After this, we're going into it. She is this like kind of cabaret performer from New York, and she's just older and fat and hilarious. Amazing. And like she is so raunchy, and it's a musical like cabaret performance, and she does she'll like if she can sense that you're into it, she like will just come motorboat you. And I went with some friends, and one of them was just like so terrified of that happening, like some kind of interaction. That we sat like way in the back, and I really wish that I had just been like, you know what, I'm gonna, not because I need to be motorboated, but just because I just wanted to be as close to her as possible.
Yeah, and you wanted to feel that energy, that closest energy.
I did, and the whole time I just spent the entire time just
wishing that you had that energy. Yeah.
wanting to be closer.
Needing justify my love.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
So.
Yes. So as we conclude today's episode, we have upright and fancy, or uptight and angry. Mm-hmm. One thing potentially that you are upright and fancy about, it jazzes you the F up. Mm-hmm. The fuck.
You're out of bed, you're fancy.
Yeah, you are the upright, you're fancy about it. Uptight,
your butthole's clenched, you're uptight.
Uptight and angry. Yeah, you can like put a charcoal in and a diamond comes out kind of thing, you know? So, from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Have you thought of anything, or should
It's a very popular joke in the 80s. Yes, okay, so this is mine. I'm going to make it succinct. I'm going to try. Okay. My upright and fancy is I recently found out, okay, everybody, some people are going to love this. Some people say, why do I care? I found out there's a surprise Moana sequel coming out. You have not seen Moana. Another one you have to see. So, for someone, if you were out there and poor and going through something, go watch Moana. Instead, I feel like there was a while that I just watched Moana in lieu of therapy, and it worked for me. It's a lovely movie. People judge without thinking, but it's like there's no love storyline. Like, it's beautiful. It's in Hawaii, which you have much experience with now.
Much experience, yes.
And anyway, but it's also just like it's just beautiful.
Cool.
And so basically Disney was they were creating a series, and then they realized like this is too good, like it needs to be its own movie. And then
cute.
and the reason why I'm not a Disney adult, and I'm like this that kind of stuff does not electrify me. And also Disney as a company sucks, and I'm very upright and fancy about the fact that they're unionizing. And the thing that I am uptight and angry about is that some people are mad that Disney employees are unionizing. How does anyone feel like the people at the top of the food chain actually give a single shit about the quality of life of employees. Like, how can you be on the side
the
of
employees of insert name here? You know, like
Yeah.
it's kind of across the board. Yeah.
And I know Six Flags was very different than the Disney experience, but I'm sure you have talked to many people who have worked in the Disney parks. It's a fucking nightmare of an experience.
Yeah,
and they're paid so little.
Everybody I've ever talked to there has either worked on the ships or worked as like characters or something like that, and it's different. The entertainment is sometimes different than the rest of the business. So I don't know a lot about the thing, but I do think that anytime that you can band together and have a union with something like that, it would be good. So you're upright and fancy is Moana 2. Surprise! And you're uptight and angry is people being upset with
Disney.
With Disney unionizing. All right, okay.
And especially I'm talking about the people who work in the theme parks.
Of
like
course.
That's like those people make no money and they have the fact they don't have bargaining power.
Yeah.
And like the amount
Something.
It's just insane. So so that's my deranged.
I like it though.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. All right, so I'm gonna start with my uptight and angry. I'm uptight and angry about the fact that Toby is still sick. Poor dude has been sick. This is week 2. He said today.
Toby,
this
his
is
partner.
The end of week 2 being sick, and I just feel for him. It's there's a certain.
It's a sick time of
There's
year.
a certain like breaking point that you reach at day 4 or 5 of like a 7-day sick. So he's on the end of week 2, and so it's like that breaking point has probably already come and gone four times over. So I feel for him. That's my uptight and angry. Upright and fancy is having been able to spend so much time with my mom recently, and interviewing her about as I said before, on my Traveling Circus podcast, about my dad's family and about her experience meeting them, and like it was literally 2 completely different words, because mom grew up with old school money.
Yeah, she's debutante.
Debutante, and he literally grew up in poverty and in a carriage house and then in a double wide. And so and it just and his youngest sister had Down syndrome, and like they were his parents were the maid and the chauffeur for this really rich lady, and my mom's family employed maids and chauffeurs in Alabama.
That's how they met?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this was Vermont and Alabama.
Oh, right.
Her brother introduced them, and she said they met and hung out for a full week and were so in love that they could hardly stand it. And from then on, but the way their families integrated and stuff was really funny. Oh, yeah. So I have a really fun interview with her, and it was really fun to do. Look, I just cross-pollinated. BT Dubs, I'm interviewing her coming up very soon for my Traveling Circus podcast.
Yes, indeed.
And I think that you guys should pay attention. I think it's going to be lovely and fun.
I mean, who doesn't want more of us talking to each other, really?
Yes. And look at us with time.
I mean, time with
literally 2 minutes to spare.
And by the way, this is we have a little schedule that adds up to an hour. It's always been an hour and 15 minutes. Best case scenario. This time, not only do we have to do that because we don't want to go past that, because we don't want to. We don't want to, just stay a little too long. Yeah. We want to leave you wanting more.
I was about to say, we want you to want more.
Yeah. Don't you want more? And,
am I not cute enough to be trafficked? What? I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Also, I just have to say, when you were talking about your mom worrying about you, I'm sorry. My friend, her mom, when we were in high school, and she was very anorexic and started losing weight, her mom went, "Well, you need to be careful because you're pretty enough to get raped now."
Oh. Oh,
you're pretty enough to get raped, and I'll never forget or forgive that comment.
Maybe we should end on that fucking grotesque comment.
So we want all of you to know that you're pretty enough to get raped.
We think you're pretty enough to be trafficked. You are pretty enough.
Yeah.
We might get canceled for both of those comments, but it's okay. If you've listened this far, you're fans, and you know where it's coming from.
Oh, fans.
The hatred. The animosity is... I'm just kidding. No, it's making up those things.
We are just... You know what? that's part of our affirmations. We look every day in the mirror and we say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and I'm pretty enough to get raped.
I am hot enough to be trafficked, and I'm pretty enough to get raped.
I mean,
and people like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that it's important to, it's important to give yourself a little boost, you know? And so we invite you all to give yourself a boost. If that's not your chosen boost, to get a different boost.
If not that exact boost, it's understandable.
Maybe a little boost protein shake. Like
Leroy says, happy Upright and Fancy episode 6 day.
And I say, I love you so much.
I love you. I love you.
Please send us your questions, your voice memos, your requests, anything. Upright and Fancy.
uprightandfancy@gmail.com.
Follow us on the socials. Give us reviews for the love of God.
Like and subscribe and all of these things.
All those things.
I need eczema medicine.
We're here for you. We're here for fun. And please come back and see us.
Yes. Mwah.